Guys, welcome back. I want to talk to you again about, since I got some positive responses on it. If you transferred from Catholicism or, the big three, like Christianity, Judaism, or Muslim, and you're now working with Loki, or you're just pagan, or whatever you call yourself in general, there are going to be times in your life, no matter how long you're a pagan, and people that say differently are either heartless or lying, where you're going to miss your, oh God, you are. And it's normal. You were raised with that, and even if you were like I was, I hated getting drug out of bed early every Sunday and being forced to go. Because my parents were of the force you to go to, Sunday school and force you to go to church, and I absolutely hated it. You can hate the religion and love the God. And a lot of Christians feel that way, I think. You can really hate the Christian religion and love the God just fine. You can hate everything you were ever taught as a Catholic or, whatever, and just, love Jesus or love the saints or love God or whatever. And you come to this stage, and people that didn't come from the big three won't know where I'm talking about, where you have to say goodbye. That sucks. Because we that were raised that way, unless your teachings were very different, you were taught to have a personal relationship. And trying to mix them is like any metaphor about trying to mix two things that don't mix. You can't really mix paganism and the big three. It just kind of sort of doesn't work after a while. You have to make a choice. And every so often you'll get blindsided because you'll think, I thought I was over you. And something will remind you. I was looking at an article by a pagan, and they were trying to incite bad feelings between pagans and Christians. Now, most of the time, when people do this, they're using the what they did centuries ago fight, and you have to let it go, man. Okay? You have to let it go. And two, if there are problems now, there are a lot more constructive ways to solve them than hating each other and raising violence or hatred towards people. That's not going to work. I admit, our gods do not usually not usually compatible with Christianity. And you'll find out if you're a pagan and you come over and you try to shoehorn all the pagan gods in with Christian mindset, it doesn't work. Believe me, I tried it. Everybody has that awkward transition phase they don't want to talk about. Believe me, I tried it. It doesn't work. And it doesn't do any good to blame them. But one of the things this person did was they made fun of the idea of a personal relationship with Jesus. And I just lost it. I lost it. And since this person was Hellenistic, Paulo got it. Paulo got it full square. And thank the gods he's an understanding God. He just absolutely got it. Because, it wasn't about this person saying no one could have a personal relationship with our gods, which was bad enough, because I just think we're high on crack. But it was attacking the personal relationship with Christ. They attacked my ex. And, we might have had to divorce, but that doesn't mean you stop caring about someone. I'm like, I will kill you, woman, or thing, or whatever gender you are. I will find you, I will hunt you down and kill you. Because, if you were raised with the actual Christ, not self-work Christ or anything else, he wouldn't stand up to fight for himself. Everybody around him always had to stand up for him. He was like, oh, be meek and mild and merciful. He was a dang hippie. If you want to worship a hippie, worship Jesus. Stop trying to turn pagan gods into hippies. Worship Jesus. He never fought. Ever. The one time he threw a hissy fit was because they were gambling and doing all this other stuff they weren't supposed to do in the temple. It was the only time he ever lost his stuff. And even then, he did not physically hit people. He was like, I think, cracking a whip in the air, but he never actually made contact with people. He's just like scaring them with it and chasing them out. And remember, in their religion, in my old religion, that's God getting mad, and that's like biblical Old Testament God getting mad. He really mellowed out when he became a human. So, it's sometimes you'll get set off because someone was questioning the miracle of his birth, and someone was questioning that he ever lived, and someone was attacking Jesus, and I just lost it. I totally lost it. And Apollo I was still like stewing. I like tried working out and I tried doing everything I can, like when I get angry. And Apollo finally just leaned forward and he goes, "Look, the Oracle of Delphi died." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. This person doesn't speak for you. I'm good now." And he just looked at me. But yeah, you'll have those periods where, having transitioned, you will miss your ex. For me, the holidays are hard. Because you see crosses everywhere, and everybody's talking about Jesus, and Merry Christmas, and Happy Easter, and, Thanksgiving, and everything, and it's like, I never liked the church. I'm not big on religion, but, you miss the ex sometimes, and you can't get back together with the ex. You can just kind of wave at each other every so often. Jesus off somewhere doing something, and, that's the end of that, but... yeah, every so often you will miss your ex. Maybe, for you it wasn't Jesus, maybe it was just God in general because you were, Jewish or Muslim, or maybe you had, you gave something else up. You gave up like an ancestor, or you gave up, whatever. I know the moment I started working with Pagan Gods, my Christian Catholic ancestors were not having none of it. They were not coming back. They were not talking to me. I was done. Catholicism in my family, I was done. I was no longer an entity because I did not attend church. And you'll have those days. I remember prior to the relationship breaking up, I started going to church every day, and I had a priest ask me what was wrong, and I said, "What do you mean?" Because Catholics can go to church every day, by the way. And I said, "Nothing, I'm just enjoying coming to church." And he says, "No. The only people that come to church every day are basically like very old people who are getting ready to die, and people that are very troubled." And he's like, "What's the matter?" And I couldn't tell him. What are you going to tell him? I'm going to break up with Jesus. I've become pagan because the gods are calling me. It's not working out. Yeah, what's the priest going to do? And you'll have days where you're kind of read something or you see pagans fighting and you'll think, "Oh God, I wish I'd stayed a Christian," or "I wish I'd stayed a Jew or a Muslim," or whatever you were before. You will have those days, and we don't talk about it as pagans, and we should, because we let people that were born into the faith silence us and shame us for not being like seventh generation whatever. We'll flip them. We have unique problems and needs as pagans that came over, and we should address them. We should address what it's like when you see the X. I've been having all this Christian stuff come up in my Pinterest feed. Now, that doesn't mean anything, but like when it first started happening, I was annoyed. When it first started happening. And now it's like I almost want to cry every time I see it, because I'm like, please go away. This is hard enough on me as it is. Go away. And I'm not going to become a Christian anytime soon. Anytime it gets really bad, I will just talk to Jesus and I'll say, "Look, it's like you're nosing around. Like God's out on my front porch, right, with the radio and the cue cards. It's God, actually. You getting the reference? Good." And it's sometimes, to me, it's totally okay to sit down and talk to them and say, "I loved you very much, but I couldn't live in the church, and I can't separate you from the church. I can't separate you from your Bible. I can't separate you from the Torah or whatever, Talmud or whatever you're reading." And just, sit down and say, "I love you, but couldn't separate you, and trying to get you to work with Pagan Gods is not going to work, because you do have the that one and only God thing, and it just won't work. Where pagan gods, in general, you can have like 50 gods. Very rarely you'll hear when someone new comes in, but it's just usually your gods making sure this new god has your back and they're not just coming in for, free meal and duh and duh. So, kind of wanted to talk about that because I think it's silly to shame people for not having been pagan for like, 8th generation pagan. It's kind of like those annoying Americans that, my family goes back to the Mayflower. Good for you. My family came over here to avoid the draft. Yay! Actually, that's true. And, like one of my ancestors did not want to fight in one of the wars Germany was going to fight, and bloop, they came over. That's how half my family got here. So yeah, it's okay to have those days where you think, I wish I was a Christian again, because you were happy or you wouldn't have transferred over. And even though there are those Christians that can go off with just their Bible and their God, and that's all they need, and they don't believe in a church, and they only believe in God and man talking to each other. The saying "no man is an island" comes to mind, because you would then end up wanting to read literature and you'd be back where you started. So, just thoughts, and remember, it's okay, and it's fine, and it's fine to still have conflicts of your Christian values or Jewish values or Muslim values or whatever you were and what you are now. It's normal, it's human, because you were taught one way of being and now you have a totally different, usually 360 way of being, and it's okay to have those qualms, to have times where you've been doing everything right for years and all of a sudden all these guilt feelings come up. Or hey, like if you were Catholic, you were raised on guilt and fear. Those were like, that's what they taught you. And it's okay. And you will be okay. It is not easy. It's not like our pagan ancestors had it where, they were pagan and everyone had been pagan because Christianity hadn't been invented yet. And here came one more god. And they were like, okay, one more god, come on in, let's party. And, we don't know. Was it a slow conversion? Was it a fast conversion? Was it semi-peaceful? Was it entirely hostile? Totally depends on who you ask, because we just don't know. We weren't there. But, it was probably very different for them than it was for us now. And I don't think, saying because Christians did this, we should hate them, because I remember growing up in a Christian community and that's why they hated pagans, because pagans were throwing Christians to the lions. It's like, dude, that was actually like one person throwing, yeah, it wasn't right, but you know what I mean. If we all keep living in the past and we all keep saying, well, sins of their fathers, blah, 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 we'll never reach peace. And these are the same people that are saying we're evolving, and yet they want a religious ground war, and that's not cool. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And no, I'm not going to be waving a Bible around. I no longer own a Bible, so I'm not going to be doing anything like that. But, yeah, you have those days where you watch pagan craziness and you're like, I wish I was still a Catholic. You will. But by and large, you're okay. And Loki, by the way, will stand by you. He will understand. He just pats me and goes, one that got away. And we understand each other. And it works out. So, I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.